I will show you several examples based on, for the first part, what you can build on your home page. The second part will be, we'll care about the dedicated landing page. When you have multiple products, it can be very interesting to create dedicated landing page for each product. The third part will be, we'll talk about what we call the dynamic browsing, mostly based on taxonomies of product and inside product kind of document, for some examples. The almost last example will be the guided navigation, in which you will see the example. And the last example will be based on list or index of documents, which also can be a very efficient way to access a document. Let's start with our own homepage, which has been designed to be able to access quickly to a lot of different documents. On our own case, we have only one product, which is Fluid Topics, but we expect to offer many access to many documents directly from the homepage to make this access 1 or 2 clicks possible. Let's dig into this page so that you will see how it's built. So it's built with the page designer, of course. And you see that on this page, you have several sections. The first one, I will certainly forget it each time, but you always find the search bar. Here in any example that we will see, the search bar is always proposed as a way to access the content. So everything that you see below is an alternative way to access the content. For this first style is built based on search result, which is the latest document that have been published on the portal. This list is built automatically based on the FT last edition, certainly, or last publication metadata. The second style here is not automated. It's a curated list, which is created manually. But the idea here is to promote some content that is, for instance, popular, or in which you have important information that you want to access easily. On the third tile, which is this one, you will find 2 different accesses to external content. The links here are, for instance, linked to the Fluid Topics help desk portal, which is not hosted into Fluid Topics because it's a ticketing system. But the idea here is to have a direct link to the ticketing system. If you don't find the answer to your question in the documentation, it's an easy way to access to the portal itself. We have also another section here, which is a carousel. So this section is built on custom component. The code is also accessible, just ask. And here you have a section. I will show you what happens if I have this. So here, the idea of the carousel is to let you switch to different pages or documents. For instance, if you want to access to this video, you can just with one click access from the carousel to the video. And after, we have also 2 other sections. This one is a direct access to a document. So below each tile, the idea is to let you, okay, what about this? The chatbot document, the chatbot component has his own documentation directly accessible here. Just as a remark, if you go here, now you have a chatbot on the help on the documentation portal. Feel free to test it. We think it's very efficient, but any feedback is welcome, of course. That was just this little point. So direct access to documents here. And the last zone, which is this one, is a zone that is built on search result pages. So the link, when you choose one of these style, is a search query. So how does it work? You see manage source. Here, it's a direct access to here a document, I guess, but here a search query, and you see all the documents that are dedicated to publish content, what kind of content, what kind of connector, and so on. It's a search result page directly accessible from here. That's what you can do with the page designer on a home page to create most of the direct access to documents that you can expect from a home page. This is our first example. The second example is based on a public portal that belongs to one of our customers. Welcome, Russ. And I see that I have other people from Hexagon in the audience. So this context is very different from our own context because Hexagon, for this subsidiary, cares about almost 60 different products on the same portal. There is a wide variety of documents, almost 100,000 documents in English. And the main entry point is also the search bar, but more important, a list that you can see here, which is a list to all the products that are hosted on the portal itself. Below each product name, you will find different kind of pages. You will find at least two models of landing pages and search result page also in some cases. Two examples. This first landing pages, which has been built has three different zones. The first one is the version selector, which is here. The idea being that when I have selected CADWorks, there are different versions available of this software, and the landing page itself will be modified automatically when I select the right version of the software I'm currently using. So here it's version 24, sorry. Let's see here in live how it works. So CADWork. Here, this version, if I need to switch to the version 23, I just switch here and I see in these styles a direct access to all the documents that care about this version 23. 24 here, and that's it. Version selector, direct access to the content as the second part of the document. And the third part is a direct link to the e-learning content, which is not hosted in Fluid Topics, but can be accessed through this link, of course, dedicated to this version of the software. I have seen on this portal a second kind of landing page in which there is no need to have a version selector because the content is directly accessible version by version. So for Caesar 2 software. You have here the version 14, 13, 12, and 11. Always the access to the e-learning content, which is not hosted in Fluidtopics. And as an addition, compared to the previous landing page, you can see here a kind of editorial content which gives you news about the software itself, linked to release notes and this kind of things. The third example here is almost what we have on our own portal, with a link, a direct link to a search result page for this specific product. Here, it's a very easy way to link to the documentation of one specific product, because you just select, to create this link, you just select the product in the search page, copy the link, and propose the link below the name of the product. So it's very easy. Definitely, it's not as powerful as this kind of page or this kind of page, but it's immediate. The result is one click to build. Third example will be, so here it's not a public site, so I can't show you live what happens, but the idea is to have a portal that is built on the home page on product range, I would say. For the Titan product, we have several Titan product range. We have several products that are accessible. That's what you see here with number 2. Each link to a product will link to a dedicated landing page to the product. So we have almost the same kind of, let's say, mechanism than with Hexagon. The main difference is that there are less products. So I imagine that the documentation manager has a little bit more time to create dedicated content to, for instance, the overview, or maybe marketing people. I don't know who has written this content, but the idea here is to have also an, let's say, editorial point of view, links to the release notes, and links to the documentation directly. So here too, one click on the home page and one click on the right document, and then you access the right content in 2 clicks. Let's talk about the third way of accessing the content, which is even more automated than what we have seen before. Less editorial, but very efficient when you have a lot of different products and release. The example is coming from Windriver Documentation, a software vendor dedicated operating system, if I remember well. This portal has 2 different views. The one which is public, which I will show you, and the one that is private. The difference is based on access rules. So that means that there is just one portal, one home page, one URL. And through this URL, one custom page which will build all the mechanism to browse the content, dynamically browse the content. One taxonomy which built the way the content will be browsed, and different access rights that will allow to access to part of the content or not, depending on your authentication and the rights to access to different content that you may have. So for this example, we will see what happens on the home page. So you see here, I will switch to the public version, which is here. So on this page, I'm not logged in. It's the public version. You can see some content that is displayed in different tiles. So these tiles are created automatically by a custom component, which takes the taxonomy to build these different points and these different tiles, and also the content that is available in these different styles. So the idea here is when I'm not authenticated, I can access to these kind of things. And when I select, for instance, one version of the content, this product, PXWorks, I have here several parts in this page. Here, a version picker, which allows to select another version than the one that I have selected before. A search bar in which I can search for keywords. A breadcrumb that is displayed here to ensure that I know exactly where I am. And a tile that is automatically fed by Fluid Topics. When I click on this content, I access directly to a document, which is a video. This is a specific landing page. You see here the URL. It's a P, so custom page, and you see here the rest of the URL is based on the taxonomy and the language. This is built automatically by the custom component. Here, when I am authenticated, I will see. So this is the not authenticated version, and this is the authenticated version. So you see that there are a lot of differences, mainly here in the content itself, because you can see that there are new tiles that are automatically fed by Fluid Topics also. So there is nothing manual here, except the fact that the content is linked to a taxonomy, but that's something that is very common in documentation. So here is a very, very good example of what can be done with custom components, for instance. I will now switch to the fourth example, which is guided navigation. This example comes from Liber Mining, which is an industrial customer which built mining engines, so mining excavator, dumper, trucks, huge machines, very impressive. One of the main points here is that any document is directly linked to a kind of machine, a model machine, and a use case. You have operator manual, maintenance manual, certificates of conformity, and so on. And because there are also here a lot of documents, you see almost 50,000 documents only in English, and there are several languages. The context of the usage of the portal is a guy that has to do maintenance operation on a machine, so he knows exactly what machine he has here, and he needs to access to the content very quickly. So a few steps also here, but Fluid Topics helps you to decide what steps you have to access to select the following one. So here an example. The first thing I have to select, because this is the home page, I have to select if I want to work on an excavator, a truck, or something else. I will choose the excavator. And when I have selected excavator, which is displayed here, I have to select what kind of excavator I'm working on. And I also can start typing something because the search bar is always present, or I can already browse the content. The different documents are available here in this zone, which is much longer than only 3 documents because there are many documents available here. The second step will be to select one specific model of machine. So I have selected this one. You see a kind of breadcrumb here. And now Fluid Topics propose me to select the right document type. So here, certificate, operator's manual, service manual. I think in my example, I have selected service manual. And then I have to select what kind of subsystem I'm working on. Is it an electrical system, safety system, heating, and so on. So my last click will be to select, for instance, electrical system. And now I have access directly to the right document, which is dedicated to electrical system, service manual. Everything is displayed here to ensure that I'm accessing to the right document, the right machine. I think this way of trying to access the content is very efficient because here too, the content is accessible in very few clicks. And the idea is, yeah, not to lose any kind of energy in searching, in having to browse a long list, for instance, of documents. So I think it's a very efficient way to do that. All these things are always automated. So the main point is that you just have to decide what metadata you want to expose and what metadata you want to expose after having selected the first one. So it's very easy to configure. That was my fourth example. The last one, and I see that we have already used most of the time that I had for this presentation. It's the index that is built based on a custom component that we have talked about during our last customer feature showcase, sorry. It was the component that can build list automatically. So I will switch to the documentation portal here, here. And this page is accessible on the footer of the documentation portal, which is here, and you see index. So when I click on the index button, I access to this specific custom page in which we have used the component that build this list. And what is interesting here is that I can select a lot of things to make the browsing of the list the more efficient, of course. So each column can be sorted ascending, descending. Each title here of document is a direct link to the document, of course. So I can access to this content in one click once again. It's possible to create an Excel extract of this list, copy this list, just copy paste, and of course browse this list part by part by selecting this value. So a real pager, 2 pages is if I want to just view these 2 pages, and that's it. Once again, the code for this component is publicly available. Just ask. We can send you the link.